Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to Hermitcraft. My name is Tango of the tech variety, and today I will be your dungeon master. And do we have a lot of work to do today? In fact, I got a lot of things I want to show you that we've already got accomplished, and then the things we're going to move on to today are going to be... Yeah, I've got a whole ton of things I want to show you that we've done in live streams to get the game like even more ready to be playable. And then the big thing we're going to tackle today, there's so many things, so many changes coming out. The big thing we're going to tackle today is the difficulty system. There's some changes to the overall game design that there's clank going off everywhere here. Difficulty to the, or changes to the game design overall with the difficulty system that I want to show you, and a very clever way we're going to solve the difficulty distribution of the game so that the player has full control over how hard they want this game to be. And this of course includes choosing what compass we are going to give them. I'll explain all that stuff when we get there, but it's impressive. And we also have a huge change coming up to the gameplay too. Something like an overall sweeping change to how the game is played. Hello there, Hole in the Wall. I need to plug you up. But I think this change, I'll talk about it later in the episode when we get to it. But you guys are gonna love it, I think, and it's gonna really make each run even that much more interesting for the player. But before we get into all of the decked out progress today, hi face. Before we get into all the progress for today and decked out, I do need to talk about a little bit of an elephant in the room, and that is the Create series. I know a lot of you guys were incredibly excited about it, and I was too. But you hear me using the word was, and that is because it's got to be put on hold because I have to. Decked out is my absolute number one priority here. I have to finish this game if I want to keep my sanity, and we got to get it done before the end of the season. If I was to continue doing Create mod, I would not finish Decked Out until August, and that would be very bad. So what does that mean going forward? It means we are 100% back on Hermitcraft now, in case you couldn't figure that out right now, and it's all decked out. It's decked out until we are done, and it's in my sights. I'm laser focused on getting this game done so that the hermits can play it, so I can enjoy being the dungeon master and all the things can happen. But does that mean that the Create series is done forever? Absolutely not. Once Decked Out is done and everyone has had their fill, you can be assured I will be back there because there's so much I want to do there. All right, so let's see where to even start. The redstone has moved along quite a bit here. Probably the biggest thing we've got done since last episode is you see all this blue and green stuff. These are the coin and ember drops, and everywhere you see this blue and green, all in here, all over here, up here, down, around, skadoodle, this, that. There's a whole bunch of stuff hidden up in the back there and everything. That is for the coin and ember drops. So now I can have cards over there that say add a few coins, add a few frost embers to the game, and now they will be randomly distributed throughout the dungeon, at least level 1, randomly. So that was a big system. We also went back and added all of the clank detectors. Most of them were done. We finished those. All of the artifact drop-offs are in. Oh right, all the hazard doors are in. Everything with this level 1 is almost redstone complete. Probably the biggest change remaining for level 1 and all the levels of course is the evokers. Getting in the when they hit max clank or close to max clank, the evokers are going to start revealing themselves. And obviously we don't have the evokers in here yet, but even before that I want to get the redstone systems in that make them pop up so that they can, you know, summon vexes and kill the players and all that good stuff. Let's see, what else have we done? We got it so that now when the shulker drop off happens, it will now go down through this water stream down, where is it, right here, and be returned over here so that we can fill their, because you know they probably want their deck of cards back up. Now we can fill the cards that have been played and the cards that haven't been played and get everything returned and filled into their shulker deck. And we need to get their shulker deck returned to the surface so that, you know, they might want to play the game more than once. And you know, other little things like the minecart entrance ride where they enter the game in here, it comes down here, it drops them off, they go through the wall. Previously the minecarts were just sitting there. Now the minecarts get broken, sent back up to the surface and recycled, so again, more people can play the game. Oh, and also off camera I have added a ton of little secrets on level 1. There's going to be more on level 2. Basically, little things that you have to discover and find for yourself. And no, I won't be showing those on camera. Meh. But I do want to explain what some of the changes are that are coming. There's so much clank being generated now. I might have to tweak that. We'll see. Playtesting soon. But one of the big changes coming up that I'm super excited about, though, is in all these secret places, hidden throughout the dungeon, you may find some lecterns like these. And I may have to take these out, or maybe these will be the ones that describe. But basically, there's going to be books. And if you open up those books, inside the book will be a recipe, a crafting recipe that, if you find those ingredients in that dungeon run, you can craft a new card. Yeah, that's right. So basically some of the higher end cards, the legendaries and the rares, I'm going to reserve to a crafting system, I think, where instead of paying for frost embers, who knows, it may be some kind of combination, I don't know, but you can craft the higher end cards. And you got to first find the recipe somewhere in the dungeon, whether you want to share that knowledge with the viewers, or not the viewers, other hermits, is up to you. But if you get the ingredients that are outlined there, it's going to be a standard. We're going to add a data pack to the server. There's going to be a standard recipe, you know, like you might need to get, you know, who knows, a tropical fish and a piece of sugar cane. I don't know, I'm making this up, right? That's a horrible example. But if you do, and you take it to the crafting bench, there will only be one in the final room. You can craft a card that you can add to your deck. Overall, I think this is going to be a huge improvement. It's going to promote exploration. It's going to add a lot of curiosity. How do I get these cards? Where do I find them? Have you found the tier 3, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff is going to be great. Okay, I am very excited. Let's get to the new stuff that we're going to do today here now. So let's talk about the difficulty system, okay? Previously, up until now, what I was planning on doing was adding a certain amount of cards to the game that the player could put in their deck. They were permanent cards, and remember, permanent cards, you can only have one of them in your deck. They're unique, essentially. There were permanent cards that were going to increase something I was calling Delve, which was a stat that basically would increase the likelihood of you getting a compass that pointed to a deeper point in the dungeon. So if you had 0 delve, you're probably going to get a compass that points early stages of level 1. If you had a high level of delve, you know, because you had 3 of these permanent cards that add different levels of delve, you might be going down to level 3 or level 4. And I want to keep that concept of difficulty 100%. It's key to the game, but we're going to change how the game determines how difficult that run will be. Instead of using permanent cards now, I'm just gonna, and there's a lot of thought put in this, and I see the pros and cons of both sides, but instead of using cards, we're gonna take those cards out of the game, and instead, right up in the beginning room, right in this room right here, where you start the game, where you place your shulker, this wall right here, I am going to add a difficulty selector. I'm thinking something like this. So I wanna brighten this up a little bit here. We're gonna make this white, and then we're gonna give it a little bit of glow. There we go. So step 1, choose your difficulty. And then step 2 now, I took the sign down. Basically, it's more clear what to do in here now. So this is going to be step 2. Step 2 is a place shulker deck against lamp. So basically, put your deck of cards right there. It'll get eaten up. And then we have step 3 over here. Step 3, ride the minecart. And I think you got to hit the button up there, but I'm guessing the hermits will be able to figure that out. So now it should be crystal clear what to do because the steps are labeled. If you come in here and don't see that sign or something, you're going to see step 2. It's immediately going to make you go, wait, what's step 1? This is brain dead. Everyone can figure this out. So of course we got to make it clear what is what here. It's going to be easiest on the left and hardest on the right. So I want to add little signs down below here. Let's see. Do we want to do... I think I want to do like a number just to make it obvious, and then a little word here. So we'll go easy, and then we're going to color code these. So easy will be green. We'll have medium, that is yellow. I love the glow ink in this case. In dark rooms, it looks so good. Level 3 is hard. Very good. Easy, medium, hard. So far, so good. And then level 4 is deadly. I love that one. And then level 5, I wanted to keep this one on brand a little bit. Level 5 is simply known as deep frost. Not forced, deep frost. There we go. And I think it's already black. So if we just glow this, yes, there we go. Easy, medium, hard, deadly, and deep frost. So basically these are all going to be mutually exclusive selectors. You select this one, this light will go on and stay on. Of course, I haven't hooked the redstone up yet. And if you click another one, whatever one was on will go off. So there will always be one light active here. So you have to choose a difficulty level. Okay, so now that the interface is done and I like the way this room is, I kind of want to take you guys on a little trip into my scary head and how we solved some of the theory craft and how we did the design for how we're going to use the difficulty system behind me to randomly distribute compasses to the player, but are heavily guided to the depths of the dungeon based on the difficulty that they chose. It's kind of cool. Now, to explain all this, I'm going to babble through it, but it's going to require a little bit of a spreadsheet. I hope that's okay. So where do we even start? I added 5 levels of difficulty because I didn't want it to match up with the number of levels in the dungeon, because I didn't want players to assume, because I think they would assume that if there were 4 difficulty levels and 4 dungeons, that they would one-to-one assume that if I choose difficulty level 3, that's going to take me to level 3 of the dungeon. I didn't want that. I want more randomization. I want a little bit more mystery. So we added 5. They kind of line up, but not 100%. Okay, so what we got here is going down on the left here is the compasses, okay? Right now I have about 24, 25 or so compass drop-off locations on level 1. I'm probably going to have close to that amount on level 2. On level 3, I'll probably drop off a little bit, maybe 15 or something like that. I'm not quite sure. And on level 4, I'll add a little bit more because that's going to be end game, and eventually I'm guessing players will probably start to play there a lot. So overall, I'm assuming I'm going to have about 80 lodestones in the dungeon, 80 places where you can drop a compass off. And what we need to do now, you also need to assume now that these are sorted, okay? Compass 1, assume that is the easiest compass in the thing. It's right by the entrance somewhere. You go in, you drop it off, you get out, you get an artifact that's only worth like 5 frost embers or something, okay? But number 80 here, this is in the deepest, darkest, scariest place of level 4, and it's surrounded by wardens, and it is worth a lot of frost embers. Who knows? I haven't figured out. Probably 50 something, right? Who knows? So the challenge is how to give them a compass that correlates to the difficulty they've chosen on the panel selector, but not make it 100% predictive of what they've done. So what I'm doing is I'm allocating 10 droppers to hold all of the compasses, okay? 2 droppers for every difficulty level. You can see they're color coded here: easy, medium, hard. I didn't use the same colors, but easy, medium, hard, deadly, and deep frost, okay? So now if they choose easy, for instance, droppers 1 and 2 will have these. You can see the X means that compass is in that dropper. So there should be 9 X's in each dropper because there's 9 slots in each dropper. So if they choose easy, it will randomly choose one of the items to shoot out from these 2 droppers here associated to the easy difficulty level. And continuing on, medium, you get to choose from droppers 3 and 4. Hard, you'll choose from droppers 5 and 6. And as you can see, as you go up in difficulty level, the contents of the droppers start to point to compasses that are on deeper levels. So for instance, if you choose medium, you essentially have a 50-50 chance of getting a compass that's going to take you to the harder places in level 1 or the easier places in level 2. And if you choose hard, you're going to be guaranteed to be, deep within level 2, possibly even have to go to level 3 down here. And again, if you choose deadly, level 4, you're going to be pretty much living in level 3 of the mines, possibly dipping into level 4 of the dungeon. And if you choose the deep frost, you are guaranteed to be in the deepest, darkest places of level 4. So there you go. That's how I'm planning on solving the difficulty stuff. You can see me nerding out there. That's how it all works in my head, at least. The problem now is this, okay? Right here, I don't have much space. You see that right there? Look, that spot I just busted out is in the Great Hall. I did not anticipate there being, where is it? Yeah, right there. I did not anticipate there being a need for redstone back here. So what that means, I think, is this room right here and this room right here, they're gonna have to be shortened up a little bit. The wall's gonna have to come in probably 3 blocks, unfortunately. And then phase 1 of the redstone is done. The panel selector works now. You can select whichever one you want and it clears out the previous one. So we'll go medium. Not gonna go over all the redstone in detail, but let's see, right there is your lamp. That should give you enough. You got an observer watching the repeater. You got a couple droppers here. Obviously they have 1 item in there, and the comparator, very simple, very compact. I only had to push this wall back 2 blocks or so. Okay, but then I had to do some magic to get it down below here. But essentially, when I power this, that's my time to say, hey, I'm ready to get my compass, because they'll probably trigger this when they put their shulker box in. When that line powers, it extends these pistons, and because the signal there on those comparators is only 1, it only will power the dropper down below it. So these are the 5 droppers corresponding to the 5 levels. Now, they will not have compasses in them. They will have, I guess, dropper indicators in them. Let me show you. All right, we got our sorting system in here. I think we're basically done. Those are the 5 droppers corresponding to the 5 levels. And in here now, I have indicators for which dropper over here. We have a 10 dropper sorter over here. Okay, so if you choose level 1, and again, listen, I know I'm not a smart guy. I called these all compass. They should have been called dropper, but I wasn't going to rename them again because it took forever. But these should all say dropper 1 and dropper 2. Look, I get it. I'm not very smart. I mean, anyone who's going to wear these pants and carry a doll in his left hand all the time, still got a few things I got to figure out here. But imagine, if you will, this is the level 2 dropper here. Okay, now you're either going to get, there's 4 stacks of compass 3, or I should say dropper 3, and 4 stacks of dropper 4. So you're going to get either a compass or a dropper 3 and a dropper 4 out of there. Okay, and then they're going to go around here, and these are the actual droppers 1 through 10 here. So you can see if the dropper 3 one comes out, it's going to go through this sorter here, and this 3rd guy right here will spit out one of its compass, and these will be loaded up with 9 compasses. They'll all be loaded up with stacks of 64 compasses that are already pre-bound to lodestones in the dungeon. So if I come in here and choose medium difficulty, because that's the only one where I have sample compasses in the system yet, and then I simulate over here. Now I'm simulating them putting in their deck of cards into the thing. It's gonna hit this, boom, an item's gonna shoot out of there. It's gonna get sorted. It's gonna go over here, and then one of the compasses is gonna go down there, and that goes all the way to the starting room. And now when you ride the minecart down and you pop through this wall, I love the guy spawned down there. I haven't decided yet if I want to stop that or not. I kind of like it. But anyway, when you pop off the minecart now and you go here, boop, right there, your compass that was chosen for you falls in the ceiling, and the door opens and the run begins. Okay, let's talk about 2 huge changes that are coming to Decked Out. 2 decisions I've made in the past week that I think are going to change the game for the better. I'm super excited about both of them. The first one's a little bit smaller. The second one is going to be a complete game changer. So if you recall at the beginning of the video, I said I recently put in all of these green and blue lines, and they're very important. I ran them in parallel. They're basically at the same locations. There's about 20 of them on just level 1 alone, and all of these, the green lines give out coins and the blue lines give out frost embers. Okay, so basically to encourage you to explore the dungeon and pick up some of these goodies here that you might need. And of course, this is a quick reminder: coins can be taken out of the dungeon. You can collect them between runs. You can use them to buy items in the shop outside the dungeon in the Great Hall. Frost embers, on the other hand, cannot be taken out of the dungeon, and they are more valuable. They are used to buy new cards and other things in the shop at the end of a dungeon run, but you cannot take them out of the dungeon, and they must be thrown away if you don't use them. So you want to accumulate as many as possible on a single run. So this leads us to our first big change. Coins drop in the dungeon. This is not final art, by the way. These look like dinner plates. They'll be much smaller and much better, but coins drop throughout the dungeon. We are now changing this. Shut up, Clank. We are now changing it to also, we are adding crowns to the game, okay? So basically what we're doing here is adding a more powerful, we're changing the currency, okay? What was coins now becomes crowns. Crowns are the new standard of currency. Coins are, think of it as iron bars and iron nuggets. It takes 9 coins to make 1 crown, and I'll probably add a recipe to a data pack so that you can convert them freely. These are little coins, mini coins now. Coins are not as valuable. It's crowns that you really want, but you can collect coins and convert them into crowns so that you can buy things at the store in crowns. So the advantage of this is we can now reward the player more often, you know, a crown or 2 there, a crown or 2 there, and we're not giving them as much, but they still have incentive. Clank everywhere! With more frequent coin drops, they're now more incentivized to explore even more, because they're still worth picking up, because they still add up, and you can buy a lot of stuff at the end of the run outside in the shop. Okay, now this ties into the second and much bigger change to the game. Imagine, if you will, that a player is doing a deadly run, a level 4 run, and their compass is pointing to level 3. Nice car. At this point, the player basically considers level 1 and level 2 to be mere inconveniences, right? It's how do I get through these levels as fast as possible? They're going to always attempt to go in the same direction. You know, yes, there's a good chance they'll run into some Ravagers or something like that, you know, which they may have to take a detour, but they're not really participating in levels 1 and 2. They're just kind of speed running through it. And I think I want to change this a little bit and spice things up. So here's the deal. We're gonna take a page out of some old school dungeon crawlers. Okay, I previously had this right here wired up as a hazard. Okay, so we're gonna break this here, break that. Okay, these are still gonna be closable doors, but they're not gonna close with hazard, because quite honestly, thinking about it, hazard, that was kind of annoying to come all the way up here and have this door be closed, then have to go all the way back down, all the way across, all the way back up the other stairs, and that's just, it didn't feel fun. So instead, these doors, we're gonna change the blocks, and we're gonna go with this oxidized copper here. Okay, this is going to be now a symbol, a symbolic block. I'm not going to use this anywhere else. When you see this block, okay, and the doors are closed, you know that that door is locked. And what does any good adventurer need to get through a locked door? That would be a key, of course. That's right, we are introducing keys into the game. Okay, so now level 1, the doors are going to be closed when the game starts. That one and the one over there. Okay, you cannot get to level 2 until you find a key in the dungeon, and you have to bring the key over here. I haven't decided yet if one key will unlock both doors, or if you pick, I think I'm leaning toward you pick which one you want to do. But somewhere by the door here, and we'll figure that out in just a minute, because we're going to actually make this happen. You're going to take your key and you're going to drop it into a hopper, chest, barrel, something, I don't know, and the doors will open, and that will grant you access to the next level. There will be these copper doors will be going from here, levels 1 to 2, from levels 2 to 3, and from levels 3 to 4. So now brings up the obvious question of, well, how do I acquire the key to get through the level I'm on to get to the next level? And the answer kind of ties back to some of the changes we just made with coins. Okay, previously there were cards in the game that would say +1 coin to the dungeon. Okay, and those are going to still exist, except they're not going to say coin now. They're going to say +1 treasure, and treasure can be a coin. If you're lucky, it might be a whole crown, or it might be a key. So essentially, everywhere this green line connects up and it was going to drop coins, it's now going to look something like this. Imagine these are full stacks of 64. It's probably going to look something like this, okay? Maybe that, I'm not sure. Now you have a chance. Every time you add treasure to the dungeon, you're most likely going to get a coin, you might get a crown, or you might get a key. So your goal now, when you want to get through a level, is not just to make a sprint for the exit for the stairs down the next one. You have to explore the dungeon and look for a key that will get you, that will unlock the staircase to get to the next level. Now, there's some obvious questions that come up here. Keys are only going to work for the level that they drop on. If you happen to get 2 keys on level 1, you can't save one and use it for the door to get from level 2 to level 3. It's not going to work that way. And there could also be some concerns about, like, well, what if I get unlucky and a key doesn't drop and I have to sit in the dungeon for like 20 minutes? That's a legit concern, and I think I'm going to try to address that by putting like a max limit or something where eventually a key will be guaranteed to drop. I'm not certain yet, but we'll figure that out. And another question might be, well, what happens if you don't have any plush treasure cards in your deck? Or what if the plush treasure cards that you do have don't give you a key? Then a key will never come and you're dead. Well, what I think we might do is, with the changes to the currency now, given that there's a way to reward, to put treasure into the dungeon without overflowing them with coins, or overflowing them with crowns in this case, I think what I can do is treasure will enhance or increase the amount of treasure that you get, but treasure will automatically drop in the dungeon for you over time. So eventually you absolutely will get a key. And again, there probably will be some kind of throttle if you don't get a key within 4 or 5 minutes or something. One will probably drop at a fixed location that is well known. Okay, we got something here. I think this is going to be great. I mean, we're basically teaching the player how the key system works. So the game is on. You can hear the heartbeat running right now. Okay, now they're going to come up here and they're going to see this wall here. I put a little sign here that says, "Seek the key. Offer it to the kneeling man. Hopefully that's fairly obvious. Hopefully everyone knows what to do there, because there's a kneeling man right here. And the other sign over here says the exact same thing. We have seek the key, offer to the kneeling man. And it's telling them, hey, go look for a key in the dungeon. Once you get the key, I have one right here. Offer it to the kneeling man. And I've put a copper slab right here. Hopefully, you know, copper as the association will tell them that, hey, that's going to be where you do it for the to unlock thing. And hopefully I haven't tested this. We'll see if this works. If I do this, okay, there they go. They both just opened. Okay, I decided to open both doors for now. I think that's the way to go, because it brings up too many issues. If only one door locks, then you have to come out that way, and it defeats the point of having 2 stairs and stuff. But there you go. I like it. So that we just taught them the key system. That took very little work. Overall, this whole change takes very little work, because all I'm redoing is reusing all the coin depositors I was going to use, and I just renaming it treasure and making it better. One thing I think I definitely need to do, though, is when they drop the key in here, I mean, we obviously, right? We have to play the Zelda noise. The, you know, listen, I can't make the tune, but you know what I'm saying, right? The Zelda noise where you discover a secret, that's got to happen every time you open a staircase. I love it. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. I am getting excited. I am getting so excited because we're getting close. We're getting close. My goal right now is to make level 1 completely playable, and then I'm gonna get ZF. He has volunteered to be my guinea pig. I'm gonna get ZF, and we are gonna do a whole bunch of live streams, probably do 1 or 2 in video as well, where we just start testing and playing. And I'm like, all right, go now and try this deck, go now and try this deck. I just got to implement the cards, and I think next episode we're gonna do that. We're gonna get some basic cards in the card processor so we can start testing some of them, and I gotta get evokers and ravagers. That's where we're at. The time has come to fill the dungeon with some baddies, and I don't know about you, but I can't wait.